What's up, everybody? This is the Live to Create show, and my name is Jonathan Kelly. Today, I am here with a special guest by the name of Ngola.
Ngola, yes, sir.
Okay, Ngola, can you tell us where you're from, who it is that you are, what type of things that you do?
My name is Ngola. I'm from South Africa, Durban to be specific, KwaZulu-Natal. I'm a creative entrepreneur throughout the fields of music, fashion, and film, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So really, a broad spectrum of creativity. The things that you do, music, film.
Yeah. Very broad, but based on like the passions and the things that I'm very passionate about. Anything that I like or that I love, I'll basically try and not make money out of it, but try and make it something that I can do.
Find a way to monetize it.
To monetize it, yeah. I don't really want to spend my time trying to make money doing things that I don't love. So I surround myself with my passions and I make them my work as well.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Tell me, how long have you been in the United States? How long have you been in America?
I've been here in America for like 2 months.
Okay.
I'm actually moving through. I'm here visiting and doing like a few shows and stuff like that. Just checking out the scene in the market, seeing whether my music can be able to plug in.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to be in New York, Atlanta, and on each side people received it pretty well. So I'm just learning the market and trying to see how I could come back properly. You know, maybe around a more vibrant season in time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've hit some of the major cities with big markets. You know, like Miami, New York. You been to Atlanta yet?
Yeah.
Atlanta.
I had a show
I was gonna say
there,
that's a good one. All right, now you say you had a show. What instruments do you play? I know you're a musician.
Yes,
what type of things? What type of music do you play and instruments?
Okay, so when I perform, I don't, but I'm trained to. Like I studied music. I studied in South Africa, degree in live performance, which encompasses music business and theater acting, and I did piano. That's the instrument that I got trained in. But when I perform, it's more singing and rapping.
Okay.
Over beats, like in production and stuff like that. So I haven't gotten to the point where I can master how to, which I will get to hopefully one day, how to rap and play the piano.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, on stage.
Now, let me ask you this. Who would you say that you're most like when it comes to music? What artists that we would know or I would know, who would you compare yourself to that's out in the industry now? Or is there anybody that we could compare you to right now?
I don't know about a musician. I'm sure people could say a lot of people, you know. I also don't want to say answers that become a bit too like, oh, you just said someone who's just the biggest person, but I don't know, man. I don't know about a musician that.
Well, then I guess that means you're original. Then I mean, I can't. If you can't think of anybody, then that means that there's nobody else out there like you that's doing what you're doing. Then you're more so one of a kind, or you're original artist. You know, because we don't need a lot of copycats.
I think that more to say that, and I agree with you. We don't need any more copycats. You know, I'm trying to be as original as possible. Like the first show I had was in Charlotte, in North Carolina, and the first song I did was over this beat that I got from another great artist from South Africa, Spook Matambo, where he sampled Uba Matala, and it's like a very African Zulu type of song. And the poem that I did on the song as an intro was in Zulu only.
Wow.
So that was scary, but my whole test in my head was, I know no one will understand me in this crowd at all, but can they vibe with the energy? So I'm telling that story more to say that it's not that there isn't anyone out there, but it's not one person, you know. I'm inspired by Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Put J Electronica in that picture, because I'm very much about like self-knowledge and the knowledge of the people that look like us, you know, and not shade of our color and skin. But you know, Jimi Hendrix, and then obviously, so it's an amalgamation. So it's hard for me to say one artist, especially within hip hop. It's an amalgamation, man. I'm just inspired by a lot of different things. Yeah.
That's good. Now let me ask you, what got you started being from South Africa? How did you get started on hip hop? How did you get started in music?
I joined the choir when I was in grade 5, 5th grade. At our school, they basically told us they were looking for boys to join the choir because there were only girls and they needed some male singers.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old, and our teachers like the perk is that you can miss the last period of every Thursday of school. So I went and I joined, and I sung the national anthem because it's the easiest song for me to sing.
Yeah.
And I got in, and yeah, that's basically how my music like initially started. And then from there, I got into like little rap groups and whatever.
Okay.
So by the time I was 14, I was basically writing and part of a little group, and we're doing things around school. Yeah, that's how.
That's how it all got started.
That's how it all basically kind of got started, in terms of me finding like, okay, cool, I'm within music. But it really like starting like what lasted and what I've become now was a process of me being more of a writer.
Okay.
And that started more of, you know, like I make music for therapy. That's how it started, like self-therapy, like writing about whatever's happening at home. That's how it basically started. Mom's is in the house. This is what we're going through. My little brother, my little sister, single moms, all that stuff, little problems, all that stuff, you know. And then from there, you basically start developing a skill of knowing how to interpret your feelings and your thoughts, you know. And the better you get at it, and if you have a knack for words, you're able to make it sound better in a way that other people now can access your inner feelings. And so as it grew more and more like that, I was then more confident to start being around people and then starting to learn the skill of the game.
Yeah.
But I had already honed, you know, what it meant for me personally. So I think that's where it started.
That's good.
Honestly, yeah.
So let me ask you this, man. There's a two-part question. How do you view success, and how did you overcome any obstacles that you've run into, you know, being an artist and doing so much, and then being like in South Africa?
Yeah. Success is, this will sound cheesy, success is when opportunity meets preparation.
I say that.
That's how I view success. So it's not a destination. It's every single opportunity I get, or that I meet, or that I arrive at, or that I make happen whilst being prepared. You know what I mean? So success is a lifestyle. It's a state of mind that you get into once you start building, and once you've been building and consistently. You know, I believe that I could have stopped doing what I do a long time ago. You know what I mean? I could have gone the normal route, like stop being an artist, stop being an entrepreneur, and investing in your passion, start investing in logic, because that's more what we're trained to do in this day and age. You know, invest your time into logic and what will have the most plausible outcome of success. But I didn't, only because I believe that success means nothing if you're not gonna do something that will be impactful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's cool that people can go to work and have a normal job and guarantee that they'll have money, but once they're in those positions, what do they do?
Right.
You know what I mean? You just become a rich banker or a rich whoever. You know, so another reason why I want to be an artist and want to be successful specifically in what I do is so that I can impact people, you know, and actually say something. So yeah, for me, success is when opportunity meets preparation, and then you use that opportunity to actually say something that will move humans forward.
Right, I agree. Being ready, prepared, and then when somebody gives you that opportunity, you take advantage of it, but you also make an impact, and you know, make progress in whatever area you know you're trying to push. Because I agree. For me, I want it to be impactful on people's lives. You know, for people to know their purpose and their passion. You know, so people, you know, like you, when you come in here and talk about it, I'm like, sounds like you knew it from an early age at 11, and you just worked on it. You know, you just kept getting better and better till now you're doing shows. Which brings me to this point: what are some of your biggest accomplishments or your biggest accolades that you've been given or received since you've started on this journey?
Just to go back to what you were saying, you know what's crazy is that's the hard thing though, is when you know what you want to do from a young age.
Yeah.
And you know that it's not necessarily part of the normal path.
Right.
So it's like the whole time you're gonna keep trying to be as normal as possible, you know. I studied copywriting. You know, I came from an advertising background. You know, I studied that. That's what my mother felt like would be good for me, and kind of didn't really go as planned until I started really focusing and investing even my education into what had been my passion. So yeah, that's a lot. But in that, I'd say that some of the milestones and accomplishments for me have been some of the people I've probably opened up for, you know, shared a stage with. The main one I'd say, there's this guy called Tumi from South Africa. Tumi Molekan. His stage name now is Stogie T.
Okay.
And he's arguably in my thinking, or at least when I was growing up, he was part of a band called Tumi from the Volume T with the V, and they're a lot like the Roots.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So for me, there's a lot of like the Black Thought type of, you know, type of artist, and he was the one person who was standing against the grain when everyone was very mainstream. So in my country, it's like, because we're still progressing, because the concepts of freedom is still new.
Okay.
Even though it's not, it's like about 20 years now. A lot of people say music should be about just entertainment only, you know, not forgetting, but within the hip hop and our demographic of youth, music is mainly about sort of forgetting. And he was part of a movement that was making music that was making waves and that was making people more aware. So for me, there was a show that I got to open for him in Cape Town, and he heard, I guess, my performance, and then in one of his songs, he asked me to come up on stage with him.
Wow.
And we did a track. For me, that was really great. I also run a camp with my mother called Leaders of the Future World Academy with a company called Bamisanani. And my mother's like an activist and an educator, and in the southern side of KZN. And it's basically about maths and science camp to underprivileged kids, you know, from the rural areas for like a week or two, grade 10, 11, and 12s. And we give them the maths and science tutoring, and then I run like a life skills and leadership part of it, where we basically speak about leadership. What is your career and what are your high school career goals, your student goals,
good,
you know, going to university, all that stuff. Trying to show people that, look, okay, I'm an artist, I make music. In South Africa, I'm a bit more known for my acting because I'm on TV there. You know?
Okay.
So.
Oh boy, we got a star. We got a star. He on TV. He on that South African TV. Okay.
Hey, yeah, in that South African TV. Actually, shout outs to the leading lady in our show, Tusom Bedu. She actually 2-time Emmy nominated actress for that specific show. So a lot of kids, when we come through and we speak to them, you know, they kind of feel like, okay, cool, they want to listen because they've seen this person. And what I'm trying to spread to them is like, you know, open up your mind about how you see yourself. You know, I mean, these are the opportunities we're presented with, and when you come from underprivileged places, we all depend on scholarships a lot and student loans and things like that, but it all gets filtered through maths and science only, or these few things. And yes, you have to be trained in that. My mother always used to say, like, I was very bad at maths and I wanted to drop it in school. And she used to say, this is very, I don't know if this was supposed to be a personal interview or not, but she used to be like, no black child in Africa or in the world should never do maths in school. You know what I mean? Whether you're good or not, you're gonna have it on your report till you finish, because one day you may need it. And that concept is cool, but it also makes the opportunity of trying to get wherever very small. And it becomes saturated because we're all looking at one direction at one point, you know what I mean, to get somewhere. So as they get in that training and studying, because they have to, I'm just trying to also make them understand that there are other opportunities and other avenues. And mainly though, to see yourself as a leader. A lot of youth don't understand the concept of that leadership is a self-responsibility, that if you want to achieve your dreams, it starts with leading your own personality, your own lifestyle, and the way you carry yourself, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are waiting to be inspired, you know, so my leadership communication is about, it starts with you, you know what I mean? There'll never be something more inspiring than what comes from inside you. That's why when you start listening to other people spreading self-motivation, that's what it is. They start listening
That's true.
to that thing inside, you know.
Yeah, being a leader does start within. Because I mean, you might go and get, resources or information from other people,
And
but
not that you
it definitely
shouldn't.
starts from you. And
Yeah.
you definitely need help. Like
You
somebody
do. You
told
do.
me the other day, they were like, one thing they like about me is that I realize that I don't know it all, but I know how to ask for other people like that know it.
Yes.
And that might know to ask for help. Some people won't ask for help.
True.
You know.
True.
Yeah, that's huge. So you were talking about schools. How are the schools in South Africa, and how do you think they can be improved to be more more creative friendly to people that aren't just math, science, and things like that?
The schools in South Africa in general, it just depends. It depends on how much you can afford.
Oh, I got you.
You know.
Is it private, like a lot of private schools, or?
Yeah, but even the government schools, you pay school
Really?
fees. You know,
Wow.
the place where when I was growing up, I remember like in schools that were in the hood, like where we live, like in the township, those schools used to kind of be free or be like 50 rand for the whole year.
Okay, 50 rand is the
Which
is
be
your
like
currency.
Yeah,
that
rand
you guys
is the
use?
currency,
Rand,
which would be
okay.
like maybe like $5.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you're not really paying, but obviously the education what you get in there is also worth that like $5 for 12 months,
Okay.
which is nothing
For
you know
the
what I
whole
mean?
year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for the year. Okay.
You know
Wow.
what I mean? So obviously these are people that are not necessarily always being put in the best conditions. Some of the teachers may be qualified, some may not. Even if they are, the type of resources they have in order to actually teach kids becomes very difficult. So in South Africa, it's a lot about how much you can afford, or whether you can play some sort of sport to get some sort of scholarship.
So the quality, how much the
quality.
quality of school
Yeah.
definitely depends on what you can afford and how much you're willing
At
to
least
pay.
when I was growing up. Now, and especially with the kids that we're working with, they come from like all black schools, that teach and learn in a Zulu first language, but at least 80% of them are also fluent in English. So it has changed. It is better in terms of that the educators and the students themselves are, even under all the adversity, are finding ways to actually keep growing and move forward. But the conditions will be crazy. It'll be like the type of stuff you see in movies about Africa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids could have a class that has no roof. Or they buy some tree, something weird like that, you know what I mean? But here I am also speaking to you. I've gone to a school where I've been blessed enough to be able to afford to go to school where it's proper like here. Schools
Just-
like
just
here.
like American school,
Just
yeah.
like America. I go to there's white kids in the school as well, all mixed race, those type of things. So that's what it is, bro. It's literally about affordability. There are a few opportunities in terms of funding, government, private, but I think it's not as much while you're still in high school. It becomes bigger once you're applying for college and varsity.
Okay.
But that becomes the thing. It's about a young black child making it to the point where they can qualify for that, and a lot don't.
Right.
So
Only like a few might make it to that level.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and in South Africa, the biggest part of our population is the youth.
Is the youth. Okay.
So it's a big thing. So leadership and entrepreneurship becomes a very key thing, and understanding that education is also a means to an end. It's a means to get into a place to make money.
Right.
So we have to assess the environment we're in and assess the strengths we have, against our weaknesses, and then see what's the best way to move forward. And I do think that creativity, leadership, and entrepreneurship allow people to pioneer things that can alleviate them from a situation without always having the opportunities. You know what I mean? That's why we're artists. That's the one great thing about hip hop, I guess the reason why we don't have instruments like rock artists and whatnot is because we didn't really have them.
Right.
All you had was your thoughts, was the feeling, was the world you're in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Someone starts beatboxing, you just start rapping about the environment. That's the freestyle.
That's right.
For us, that's enough. And because we have that frequency within us, the stories and whatever someone expresses is powerful enough without any instrument.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what are some of your future goals and things that you're working on now, so that within the next 5 to 10 years, like we'll be hearing about you and what you plan on doing.
Okay. Short-term goal right now is that so I have my EP Rocket Power Love. that I released. Me being here, I also like kind of like call it like a slash. I'm visiting, you know, personal reasons, but slash like indie tour for this whole project. So I've got a video that's gonna be coming out, and I'm doing my next project called Seven Energies, and yeah, that's my short term. 5 years from now is basically having my company, Leaders of the Future World. You know, the whole corporation running fully fledged. Leaders of the Future World is actually it's so late to mention the interview. Yeah, that's the movement that I'm part of. We're also the registered company, everything. We work with musicians, like it's a small label, boutique label. And all these musicians and people we work with also come through to these camps and speak to these kids. So, and that's where we're also doing the fashion stuff. We've got like a clothing line, design sneakers. We're trying to get that up and running. Trying to hopefully be part of the first few pioneers of like a sneaker to come out of Africa, you know, that'll actually do well. And to create more films and to tell more stories, you know. Wakanda was powerful. It was, right?
Man, I had to watch that 3 or 4 times, man. That movie.
But what was crazy was
they need to come out with the second one. I'm ready for Black Panther 2, you know? I'm ready for the next one. But what were you about to say?
The debates, it started though.
Okay. It did start.
Was so interesting. It's like I felt like I wanted to make a story about what it raised within Black people.
Yes.
There's so much that needs to be done between Black people across the diaspora for us to understand each other.
Right.
You know, in this trip, it's been a blessing to learn so much about people that look exactly like me and to see how similar we actually are. You know,
even though you're from a whole another part of the world. How similar you are and how you share so many things in common.
Yeah. You know? And I think that a lot of us don't realize that. I think a lot of people sometimes, and not everyone, but there's a large number of people that most of the time we see Black Americans on TV. So it's like you associate them with stardom. It's like these people are superstars, you know what I mean? Whatever they do. So, and that's a good thing as well. But there's so much more to learn about how do they get there, you know what I mean?
Right.
Who are they? And then you come here and you learn about Black America and you see like there's so much that I wish I could also show these people about who they are.
But
you
have
know,
no idea.
That they also need to, you know, Marcus Garvey was right, you know what I mean? We need to set up something like an annual thing where everyone comes back to Africa for like a week every year. Because I swear to you, if for nothing, just go to a place where you look like everyone. There's something trippy about that. If nothing, no, you don't have to do anything else while you're in Africa. You can party the whole time, but just be conscious of the fact that almost everyone around you looks like you. From the president to whoever. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Yeah, everybody in charge looks like me. Everybody that's running this looks like me.
Experience that for a week every year. Yeah. Maybe it'll do something to us.
Wow. I know I plan on going.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. All right. Well, hey, tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your music, and the things that you're doing, so you know they can stay in contact with you and keep up with you.
Okay. It's Ngola. It's NGOLA_III. You can find that on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook. You can look for LOFW. That's where you'll find the whole company and everything we're doing there. On SoundCloud, it's the same thing, NGOLA_III. You can also go to our website, which is www.lofwmusic.com, and you'll find everything there. And there's actually a film. Sorry, I forgot this. There's an upcoming film that we shot. A short film that's going to probably be part of the Cannes Festival. So you'll find that on the website as well soon. So yeah, just look out for us. We be trying to spread the word of positivity and trying to inspire young people to be the leaders of the future world.
That's what it's about, leaders of the future world, man. That's powerful in itself. And once again, that is the Live to Create show. Remember, we love to educate, motivate, and create. Till the next time, we'll see you later.